Okay, so welcome to the third part. So now we're going to talk about Danny's new book, The Inside Out. So 8 success keys to help
Millennials thrive.
Millennials thrive. Okay, so what is it about?
Well, so I was inspired to write this book because I've been noticing for quite some time, especially in the Asian culture, our educational system does not allow us or allow the millennials to think outside the box or to become more creative and to follow their passion. So by introducing more life skill training into education institutions and helping the younger generation make better career choices or better life choices, I think it can help them get successful at a very young age. So this book basically is targeted towards millennials, but at the same time, education institutions, the teachers, parents, etc., can also get a lot of value of it because it will enable them to explore and tap into the passions of people and become more creative. So at a younger age, they can make better career choices, better life choices when they start with their careers. That's basically the focus of it. Because what happens in I've lived in Japan, China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, all these places I've lived in. I've noticed that people have to conform to certain society standards. Now you have to become, this profession is good, that is bad. You have to do this or you don't have to do that. So there's a lot of right and wrong and black and white. And which basically what happens is that your creativity does not come out. So what I want to do with this book is to be able to influence largely Asian cultures where they allow people to be who they are and allow their creativity and passion to come through. So at a younger age they make better choices.
So when you talk about younger age, what kind of age are you talking about?
Well, I'm looking more, at the millennials age or people who are just maybe probably in the universities or started their new jobs, because at that point in time when you're at a stage where you're full of adrenaline, you're full of creativity, you're fully motivated, and at that point in time when you make the right choices, it's just fantastic. Because when I coach people and they come to me and say, I've been doing this job for the past 20 years, but now I realize this is something I really didn't want to do. So I said, why are you doing it? So basically it's because of society pressures, cultural norms, and our limiting belief system, our fear that if I do something different from what everybody else is doing, people are going to look down on me. The fear of failure, fear of rejection. A lot of these limiting beliefs, they play a part on people making certain choices. So through this book, I want to encourage people and even education institutions to allow people to become more creative, follow their purpose, follow their passion into the world.
So in your book, can you give us some tips now? Because even a lot of adults friend of mine, they don't know what they want. They get graduated from high school or they graduated from universities and then they got a job and then all of a sudden the kids are grown ups and then they left school. Then all of a sudden a lot of friends of mine, they find that they're so unhappy and then they're stuck with the job, stuck with the marriage. That part we're not going to talk about. And so many people are asking, what is my purpose? What is my passion? Why do I come here? So how do you start? I guess there must be a lot of people come to you with this kind of questions. So how do you start with them?
Well, basically it's fine. Initially if you're talking about like how do I coach or process people, that's mainly trying to understand what they really want out of life. What are the goals or what's the outcome they want to achieve. And most people sometimes don't even know. They just don't feel happy and they want to experience happiness, right? So it's a process we go through in terms of similar to what we did, like you're identifying your purpose. Why do you think you're in this? What are you here to do? What are your passions? What gives you the most joy? What is it that you're doing is making you really happy? And that could be sometimes the most simplest of things. Like I had a client, a very senior executive who was coaching with me, and her passion was basically property, and she'd never been in real estate in her life.
I love that example. Can you talk about that?
And she had never really explored that. And her number one passion was nothing with the job. It was always about property. And she said, wow, this is so cool, and she knows so much about the subject. I said, look, you continue with what you're doing as a job because she is in a very, very senior position, but why don't you grow this passion and becoming, having a more balanced life so you can have more fun. In the last 1.5 years, she's bought property in 8 different countries, and she's probably making more passive income than she's making active income. But she doesn't see it as work. She just sees it as a fun, as a passion.
Thing to do.
And so that's really important. So the first important thing is what gives you joy. What makes you really, really happy. I mean, if you didn't have all these society pressures, cultural pressures, or education institutions showing you a structured way, if you had a blank piece of paper, how would you draw? What would you draw on it? So people get tap into their joy, they tap into their passion, they tap into their happiness, and then they say, all right, this is what really makes me happy, and they start including that part into their life. And when they do that, there's something called work-life integration that starts to happen.
And in this case, she doesn't even have to quit the job.
No, not at all.
Yeah, because many people is like, oh, I hate my job, and then I want to be a Reiki master, and then.
Well, you can be a Reiki master whilst you do your job as well.
Yeah, I mean, I would say don't quit your job right away. Have a plan, have a strategy. You need to pay the rent. You need to feed your kids.
Yes, it's a personal choice, right? What it is that you really, really want. I did my corporate job while I was doing this work as well, and I kind of enjoyed it. In fact, I was more effective in my job when I started doing this.
Yeah. Because you're happy.
Yeah, because you're happy, but at the same time, you could bring that skill into your organization as well. So like, for example, if I'm doing a life purpose exercise, I would do a purpose for my organization.
Yeah.
So when you create a purpose and a vision for your organization, it just inspires people to be their best selves. So your productivity and efficiency in your organization also skyrockets and really goes up.
Oh.
So when I'm coaching with the senior executives in companies, I always ask them the same thing. Create a purpose and a vision for your own company. Where do you see your company, or where do you see your company going the next 2 or 3 years or 5 years? Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't really know that, don't really think about it because they are so involved in the day-to-day business of things, right? So whatever work we do on personal development can actually work perfectly in your company as well. So it's not about making a decision about, doing a business or a job. The decision is about doing what you enjoy and how can you integrate, in your corporate life or in your business life.
Will you suggest that we all learn some business skills?
What do you mean business skills?
Like if I'm a Reiki master and I want to be the number 1 Reiki master in Hong Kong. I'm not talking about Hong Kong. In Kowloon, let's say. Then you need a strategy. Or you would say, because I think you really makes the spirituality and the commercial work quite well. So how do you do it? Or you do a lot of visualization, a lot of meditation.
Yeah, so
affirmation.
It's about having success habits. That's really, really important, right? You can meditate, you can visualize, you can do goal setting, you can do a lot of these things that we talked in our workshop. But at the end of the day, you need to do things. Believe it's possible. A lot of people have a lot of big goals, but they don't believe it's possible. You got to believe it's possible.
Or they do it, but they don't believe it.
Yeah, you got to believe it's possible. And secondly, you got to take action. You got to execute.
Yes, that's true.
And I've seen a lot of people who've got very good plans, very good strategies, but they don't take inspired action. Because what happens is sometimes the opportunity that shows up is different from what you envisaged it was going to be. It's somebody, you might have a conversation with somebody at a bar or at a restaurant, and the information they give you, if you just follow up on that, it might lead you to your goal. But a lot of people don't see that because they are focused on something else.
I was once in a writing class, and everybody's talking about big ideas, and only 2 people in that class actually wrote a book. One is me. Yeah. One was me. Another one was a very famous Hong Kong politician. And then for the rest of them, there are like 20, 30 people. They all talk about the great idea and blah blah blah. And then when we talk about, so have you written it down? And they would say, no, but it's in my head.
No,
everything is there. And then I would say, how about some tomorrow you were knocked down by a car, you have a car accident, and you got killed, and what about your book? What happened to your books? They will be gone with your brain, with all your brain cells, right?
Yeah.
So taking massive actions are quite important.
And I think the other thing important is to write down your goals.
Yes,
it's really important. They say that it's scientifically proven that when you write down your goals and you see them on a regular basis, it increases the probability of achievement by 1,100%.
Say it again, 1,000?
100%. The probability.
Why
of achievement.
1,100%?
Well, because
how come it's not 500%, but 1,100%?
That's what research
It's just a
says.
saying.
So basically what happens is that when you write down something, and you keep looking at it on a regular basis, we all have a RAS, reticular activating system, that helps us, look for opportunities and resources that is going to help us move closer to our goals, right? And when you look at your goals and read them on a regular basis, the thing is that it activates a law of attraction.
Yes.
Yeah, because you feel good about it, you feel inspired, you feel motivated.
Yeah.
And so your subconscious mind, what it basically does is it finds opportunities and avenues to get you closer to your goal. It's really simple. It's just that's how it works. So a lot of people, they have their ideas in their mind, but as soon as you ask them to put them on paper, then they realize, oh my God, this is too big, or this is too small. You've seen that when people do a goal setting exercise. So writing your goals down and reviewing them on a regular basis, creates momentum, and that's really powerful, very, very powerful.
Okay, cool. So very good.
Another thing you can do is like people do create vision boards.
Yeah.
They put pictures on a board about what they want to do, where they want. A few years ago, I got my picture and put it on the Time magazine and put it on my vision board, just for the heck of it. And just a year and a half later, I got this book out, and Influence magazine put me as 100 top authority for 2017.
Wow!
It was not Time magazine, but at least. So I see these things are powerful.
Yes.
These things are powerful, but you got to play with it. You don't take it too seriously. You just got to play with it. You just have fun with it, because the more fun you have with it, it just has that energy about it, which is very useful.
I actually did Anthony Robbins' workshop that's called Life Mastery.
Yeah. Okay.
In Fiji Island.
Oh yeah.
In 2004.
Yes.
And then I was very successful at that time working in the land banking field.
Okay.
Land investment field. And then they asked me what I really want. And at that time I was really crazy about Oprah.
Okay.
I watch her show every day, even though I was so busy. And then I watch her show sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. Definitely once a day, okay? And then at that time I wrote a big picture that is like a mind map.
Yes.
Then I said I want to be Asian Oprah Winfrey. And then now I just want to be Esther Lee, because I cannot be Oprah, okay? I just want to be me. I'm not her. I'm not black. I'm not American. I'm just not her.
Yeah.
And then in 2012, I started to work as a talk show host, and I totally forgot what I said in Fiji, like 8 years ago. And very often people ask me, they said, so how do you become a talk show host? And I was like, all of a sudden I remember in 2004, I literally write down the mind map. Like in the center there's a big cloud, and it said I am Asian Oprah Winfrey, and then there's like airplane, there are people, a lot of things in the map. And then I just remember, yes, I did it 8 years ago.
So you manifested it.
Yeah. So it does work. The vision board, I have a vision board myself.
Yes.
So can you give us more tips on your books? Because you said there are 8 success keys.
Yeah.
Give us more.
Yes.
Please.
Well, basically, some of the things I'll give you a little bit of summary about it. For this book particularly, I've interviewed different people from different walks of life as well, and one of them is going to be Sarah Landon. Sarah Landon is
Who is she?
She's a global transformation leader, and what she does is she channels a group of people called the Council. Like Esther Hicks?
Yes.
So
I love her.
So she is
love her.
You're Sarah Landon. She's amazing. So she channels a group of people called the Council, the Council, and they speak through her. And she was in a corporate life. She had a corporate life for a very, very long time. Many years she was in the corporate world, and then she started her own work as a channel, and she's a spiritual leader now. So I've interviewed her for the book as well, because I wanted to interview people, real life people who could share their experiences and show the readers, give them tips, success tips, or words of wisdom, how to the shorter route to success, how to get to the shorter route to success.
That's very precious.
So that's, I chose her from the spiritual side. Then I've got the owner of Fossil, the luxury brand Fossil.
Okay.
So the founder of Fossil, Giles Schroff, he's also in the book. I've interviewed him for it. He's got a lovely story as well. He's a big philanthropist, a mighty human being, and you really like his interview. And what they do is they basically share their stories and also give you their recipe for success.
Wow.
And that's really important. Then I've got Nick Nanton, who's a 5-time Emmy Award winner. So he talks about his story, how he was a lawyer and how he got into movie making, and now he's a big director and producer. So
how do you have this kind of connections?
It's just law of attraction.
Oh my goodness.
Some of the people I know personally as well. So it comes to that. Then I've got this gentleman called Thibaut Villet. Thibaut Villet is basically he was the ex-president of L'Oreal and the coach in Asia Pacific, and now he runs a company called May.com in China. Basically, it's a very fast-paced glamour sales company, and he's doing really, really well. So he's in the book as well, and he shares a lot of the tips that are living in China, how he merges the European culture with the Chinese culture, and how he becomes successful. And I think it's a great success story, because people who are in that position can actually learn from what he's saying.
Yeah.
The other one is Lo Ting Fai. He's the GM for View TV in Hong Kong.
Oh wow!
Yeah. He's a very young entrepreneur. Not an entrepreneur, but he's a.
I do watch his
he's very good.
TV,
I interviewed him. I really enjoyed his interview, and he's got a funny side to him, but he's very driven. And some of the lessons that and the success tips that he's given in the interview, I think it will be very useful for people in Hong Kong.
Because it's from local. Local Hong Kong.
He's local Hong Kong, and he's got a lovely story to tell, and he's doing fantastically in View. He's really changing View TV right now. And he's in his 30s.
He's actually founded it?
No, he's the GM. He's running
it.
He runs it. And he's got some fantastic ideas, and I think people will really relate to what he's saying.
Oh, I love his TV.
So he's going to be in the book as well. So I've got the way I wanted to have it is not just talk about what you should do, but have real life stories and real life people, showcasing their successes and their challenges, because they've all had challenges. Nobody's successful on the first day.
Yes.
That's about it.
I remember you talked about another story, that there is a woman, and she's so good at making cakes or dessert, and then later she turned her love for dessert into a business. You remember that one? You talk about it in your class. No.
Okay. No, that was that was the one who wanted to travel a lot. She was more into traveling, and she left her job and joined a traveling agency. And as somebody who used to take people on exotic tours.
Yeah.
And when she took people on exotic tours, she enjoyed that so much that in a few years she started her own company.
Oh.
And now she's got her own tour agency, a travel agency, and she's taking tours all around the world, because she's now, she felt that traveling was her passion. And that's what she really loved to do. So it was more around how you turn your passion into your business.
Yes, actually you shared quite a few stories in your
many
class.
Stories I shared.
Because I do remember there's a cake one, but doesn't matter. Okay, so except the book, there is another workshop of yours coming.
Yes.
So there's another workshop called Inspire to Greatness.
Yeah, so Inspire to Greatness is going to be held on October 21 and 22nd. It's going to be held in central Hong Kong. It's a collaboration between Vitality Center, it's also a Holistic Center, and another one called Soul Holistic. Together they are kind of promoting this event. Those who are interested in in changing your life, whether it's your career, your business, your relationships, or just getting more free time in the world, I would encourage you to join that.
That
It's
would be
going to
attractive, having more free time in the world.
So that's going to be quite good. I'm really looking forward to that.
Okay, so we have come to the end of our interview. So thank you so much, Danny,
Thank you.
for coming to our show and then share so many precious tips with our audience.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Okay, so I expect you to come back again and again and again.
Sure.
And then to share your new book and then your other new adventures.
Thank you. I will do
Okay.
that. Thank you very much.
Bye.